All right, well, the first thing is I'm losing daylight, and but the first step was real easy. Just take off 3 10mm bolts right there and lift this whole fan shroud right out of the way, and that'll get out of your way. And there's the bolts right there. Real easy, right? No big deal. But now, wow, I got a lot better access to that water pump down there. And anyway, that's the first step. Take off the fan shroud. All right, I can't remember if I mentioned it, but these bolts are 10mm. This is a 5/16. Is it focusing? Yeah, that's a 5/16. That's the radiator clamps that I use. That's what I use to loosen up the radiator clamps. So the next step for me is I'm gonna I put a bucket already below the truck, and I'm just gonna pull this off, let it all come out. You catch as much of it as you can. Yeah, I know it's a big mess. So yeah, you just catch as much of it as you can. So we'll get the hose off there, no big deal, and then figure out the next step to get that water pump out of there and get the new one in. So we're getting closer. All right, it's a chilly November morning, November the 26th, 2020. As you can tell, I took the hose off here and just simply pushed it over here out of the way so I have more access room. I'm getting better access to this water pump. I think my next step is to take off the serpentine belt. I'm gonna work on this right here and loosen that up. That's gonna be my next step. And you know, you got to remember how the serpentine belt went back on. So let's start right here. And again, this ain't going to be the best video. There's really good videos out there how to change a water pump, and I'm not a professional mechanic, obviously. So this is just going to remind me later, like in a few years, when I got to do this all over again, on what I have to do to this particular truck. But if you follow the belt, it goes down here, it goes under this thing, over this thing, because you know you got to put the belt back, right? Comes over, I think that's the tensioner if I'm not mistaken, and then it goes straight down there. I think that's the motor pulley that drives everything. Then it comes back up right there and then it immediately goes down there to the left, where I think it comes up on this side, and then it takes a loop over this thing, which is the water pump, and then it goes back down underneath this thing and comes back up. So that's going to be important to remember how to put your belt back on. So this fan has like a gap in it where there's like a space to work, so you move that, and I'm going to loosen that up, and we'll see if we can't get this belt off. That's going to be my next step. We'll continue on. All right, this thing popped out of there with a 15mm socket. So we got this out. I'm gonna put it over here just to store it. Now the goal is to get this belt off of here. Lift this up. Still, it's still tight, ain't it? There we go, look at that. Okay, let's fish it down. You gotta always fish it. Yeah, this is good. And let me reach down here and finagle, and look at that. Okay, I guess this would be a really good time to check the belt, make sure it doesn't have any cracks, and I'll do that off camera. So yeah, let's get this belt out of here. That's good, we got the belt gone. Now, my next step is to get this flywheel out, and the best I can tell, you're supposed to stick a wrench right there and bang it, and it's supposed to just come right out, but I don't know. I'm kind of wondering, maybe I shouldn't have taken the belt off before I started to attack the flywheel. I don't know, I may have to put the belt back on. It's always something, ain't it? I don't see no place for a wrench. The video I saw, he stuck a wrench right there, but that looks round to me. Maybe I'm just not seeing it in the right light. Anyway, let me attack that for a while, and let's see what happens next. All right, as you can see, I had to take this off too, and I've already taken that off. We got the belt off. See, this thing locks in here like that, and anyway, it just sits there, and I guess it tensions. And I ain't really figured out what the purpose of this thing is other than just to be a placeholder. I don't know, to be honest with you. But let's put those aside for the time being. I got one hand holding the camera and one hand holding parts. So I wanted to share something, the problem I'm running up now. So I got pretty good access, and that's what I'm trying to change right there, right? And it's got this pulley and it's got this fan, and the guy in the video that I saw, he took a crescent wrench, stuck it right down there and banged on it, and this thing just screwed out. But I don't see that happening on mine, just simply because I don't see any flat. It doesn't look like mine's built like that. What I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna stick a pair of pliers in here somewhere like that. You guys see that? And that's a 13, there's 4 13mm bolts. And the problem I'm having is when I try to loosen up these 4 bolts, see, this thing turns separately from the fan. So you gotta somehow lock it down when you try to loosen up those 13mm bolts. So that's kind of where we are right now. I'm gonna work on that for a while. But getting this thing off of the water pump has proven to be a little bit of a challenge, and I ain't quite figured it out yet, but at least I got good access to it. I'm gonna attack these 4 bolts, but I still ain't figured out this thing. I don't know if that thing's gonna come off with it, or if I'm gonna be in a world of hurt. We'll figure it out one way or another. All right, I've already got a couple bolts off, but I wanted to show this little trick so I'll remember it next time. You take a long screwdriver and you lock up the hub by putting it right there, and you can kind of hold it in place with your hand, and you hold it there, and then you take your 13mm wrench, and that allows you to back off one at a time. So I've already got 2, I'm gonna do the other 2. So that's the trick on how to get the 4 bolts off. I got to tell you though, I'm a little concerned once I get the 4 bolts off, I'm still gonna have a problem getting that pulley off of the water pump. We'll see what happens. All right, so hey, good news, all that worry for nothing. So I got off the 4 bolts with a 13mm wrench. The 4 bolts finally came off with my little trick there, and as you can see, the fan blade and the pulley popped right off, no problem. Look at this. I'm liking what I'm seeing right there. I didn't realize it was gonna pop off. I thought I was gonna have a lot more trouble than that. So I got full access to the water pump. One thing that's a little strange, I want to show you guys something. Where's my other water pump? Oh, here it is. Check this out. Check this out. You see how that sits in there like that? And this is the same way. This Murray that I got, it's got some sort of plug on the top. You see how it's, but this don't have no plug at all, but I guess I just leave it in there, right? I don't, mine's got a big old plug that goes to something, but this don't have it at all. So my plan is simply not to take the plug out. Maybe I should take it out and put RTV around it. I don't know. Hopefully it don't leak. Anyway, we're making a little progress, and you guys, I'm not a professional. I've already told you that a million times, but we're just slowly but surely making a little progress, and the goal is to get a working truck again. But I'm really liking what we've done so far. I just got to get that last piece out of there, and that'll be the end of part 2. Part 2 is the removal, and part 3 will be going back. All right, take care. Let's work on these 4 bolts right here. I don't even know what size they are, but I got some pretty heavy duty sockets that I'll put in there, and I might have to hit it with a rubber hammer. I would imagine those are going to be pretty tight. But that's my next goal, and hopefully this thing will pop right out of there. Hey, part 2 is completed. The old redneck managed to get the old one out. As you can see, the weep hole, I think these are called weep holes, was leaking, kind of like I thought it was. And this is a 1/2" 14mm socket. It made it super easy. It's when you got a 1/2" instead of a 3/8, man, it just pulled those bolts out real nice. So no problem there. I'm gonna have to find a torque wrench. I got one around here somewhere. It's always the finding it that's the issue. But they tell me you're supposed to clean these bolts up with a wire brush real good, and put RTV on the end of these bolts. And you know what RTV stands for, right? I had to go look it up myself. I don't have any, so that means I got to run to the store again. But RTV stands for room temperature vulcanizing, which means it'll go from a liquid to a rubber at room temperature. And they say it's important to put RTV on the end of these bolts after you clean them up with this wire brush. So here's the new one, here's the old one. Thank God I got it out. We are at the end of part 2, but also this belt, I didn't see any cracks or anything. Matter of fact, I sprayed it with this stuff, a Protectant 303. Man, there is nothing, that is the bomb on protecting rubber stuff and making it last longer. I use that on my tires, my motorcycle seat, anything that I want to protect rubber, but it is kind of expensive, but I think it's worth it. What else? I will need to, like I said, the torque wrench, when I go back in with the bolts, they're going to have to go back in at 30 pounds, at least what I heard. I'm going to have to take a plastic scraper. I can't see nothing where I am. I don't know if you guys can see, but I got to clean that up with a plastic scraper, and also this one over here too. And then we'll go back in with the new one, and hopefully this truck will run again. But like I said, I got to run to the store and get some RTV. I'm going to return this belt and get my $23 back. I can go back with the old belt. I don't have a problem with that. And then I got to find a torque wrench. So we're getting there slowly but surely. We're at the end of part 2. We did manage to get it out, and then I'll document part 3. I know my videos are long, but this is mainly for me in 3 years. If you want to watch it, you're welcome to watch it too. I know there's better videos out there, but maybe you specifically have a 1994 Chevy Silverado, and there's a little bit things that are different on this truck than the other years, at least what I found. You make up your own mind. Take care, and we'll start part 3 as soon as I get all my parts together. Take care. Bye-bye. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. All right, look what I just noticed. You see the old one? The old one has those 4 bolts on there, or studs, I guess, and the new one doesn't have them. How in the heck am I supposed to transfer these studs from the old one to the new one? That's the trick I hadn't figured out yet. You guys have ideas, leave it in the comments section, but I'm gonna have to do some research on this. How in the world do you get the studs from the old one to the new one? All right, take care.